Hello everyone, Professor Ron here, and today we're going to go over Twitter advertising and how to actually set up campaigns using Twitter. So the first thing that you want to do when you're looking into set up campaigns for Twitter is kind of determine, just like Facebook or any other one, exactly what is your objective of the advertisement. Right? You always want to think about that beforehand because you don't just want to set up a campaign to get traffic to your website for no good reason. You want to have a purpose for doing so. But to actually get into the advertising, let's talk about that for a moment. So as you can see here, this is my profile page, the main profile page for my Twitter account. And what we can do is if we click on my little image here and you go down to Twitter ads, then once you click that, you will be brought into the actual advertising page. Now, I have run an ad. It was, let's see if it was within the last 100 days. This is where I ran an ad. You can see it actually spends very, very quickly. I spent $50, in a day, it looks like. Facebook and all that, they're capable of that as well, but I just feel like Twitter is really quick in terms of the way that they actually spend the money, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you do everything correctly. You can definitely, get some real quality followers and things out of that. So let's talk about the actual campaigns that we can create here in Twitter. So in order to get started, what we want to do is click on Create New Campaign. And again, this is where you want to determine exactly what it is that you're looking for. So you can choose, I want to get more followers for my Twitter account. I want to get more website clicks or website conversions, more tweet engagements, more application installs or engagements, more leads on Twitter, and that's using specific Twitter functionality to actually get leads sent to you that way. Custom, and then help me choose which will actually run this through for you. Me personally, like Facebook, I've seen a pretty good return on tweet engagements. It's just like Facebook in that with Facebook you promote the post. Here you actually promote a tweet. That's the idea behind it. So we're going to click on tweet engagement. And I'm just going to run through some of this here. So untitled campaign, right now we're just going to give it a random name. You can give it whatever you want, whatever makes sense. But start immediately, run continuously, or customize start and end dates. You can choose either or. And then compose or select tweets to promote in this campaign. Now, you can select an existing tweet if there's already one that's been doing pretty well or that you really want to focus on. You're more than welcome to do that. Or you can actually write your tweet and then add an image to it. And as it says here, which is very important, adding an image increases engagement. This is true for both Facebook and Twitter. If you have an image with your tweet, it's going to get more engagements. People are visual. They like to see things visually. When they see them, they catch the attention. Not a lot of people are doing that. So you want to make sure that you have an image with it. I'm going to select an existing tweet, one that doesn't have an image with it. I would definitely want an image with it, but right now I just don't believe that I really have too many because I use automated software to do this. So let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any that have images, and it doesn't look like there are any. So let's go into my October income report. Okay, so we click on this. October was kind of an ugly month for my website income, but I think I'm going down the right track, my report. And then it has here, which if you click, would then lead to my October income report, which is here. So we're going to go back. I just wanted to show you what the landing page was, but that's what we're going to choose. We're going to choose a tweet. Again, I recommend, even if you want to use one that you pretty much have already done, write the tweet again, add an image. Images are huge to get that extra engagement with it, right? So we have that. All right, so now we get into targeting, and we just, talking about Facebook, they have a lot of targeting. Twitter also has a lot of targeting. It's a little more keyword based, a little bit different, not as much demographic as I'd like, but they do have some good information here as well. So targeting specific locations. So we're going to say, okay, I only want to focus on people in the United States. All right. And then we can go into here. So any gender, male only, female only, irrelevant to me. I'm fine with that. Select languages. We are going to select English. I always like to do this even though it's kind of the default, but at least when you're in the US, like I said, make sure that you do that. And then you can actually choose the devices. So if we're saying, you know what, it doesn't really show that well on iOS devices or Android devices, maybe your website doesn't show or it's not responsive, you can actually take those off. And you can keep on tablets, mobile web on other devices, and then obviously desktop and laptop computers. It's up to you here what you want to choose. For me, I could do all of them because I have a responsive website, so that's fine. So add keywords. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting, but you can actually add keywords into what it is that you want to target. So when I think about the people who are looking at my income report about my website and trying to understand how much money it is that I make every month, what is it that I'm interested in? Well, I'm interested in entrepreneurs. Broad match any order is fine, so I'm interested in people who are entrepreneurs. I am also interested in people that are making money online or have an interest in that. We can do a broad match. And then I'm also interested in people who are self-employed, which is kind of entrepreneurs. And then we'll say CEO, because I assume that that means that they have their own company, or chief executive officer. All right, so right now this is what we're looking at. We have enough of a target. It looks like these targets we have 10 to 100K here, 10 to 100K here, so I'm fine with that. In terms of followers, so this for me is huge, right? Because what it does is it lets you target the followers of other people that are in your industry. So for me, you may or may not have heard of him by now, but Pat Flynn is one of the big head honchos, I guess you could say, when it comes to making money online and income reports and that sort of thing. And I'm not sure if he's under Smart Passive Income. I think he's actually under Pat Flynn, so we'll go ahead and put Pat Flynn. There he is. So we're going to actually target his followers, and we would do this just because basically we're looking for people that are following him because we know that they really want that audience, or they're part of that audience, right? So we would do that. Also target your followers. No, I don't want to do it. Users like your followers. I think that this also, it kind of depends on how good your followers really are. You could turn this on or off. For me personally, I'd actually turn it off. Add interests. And then you can actually browse categories here and get into whatever it is that you would want to. For me, technology and computing, I would like people that want startups, web design. I'm trying to look here. Maybe computer programming. I'm kind of going after, we could just do all of technology and computing. I'm really targeting people in the tech space, right? Add tailored audiences. I'm actually not going to do this, but this is something that you can do if you have your own email list. You can upload it, and this is pretty cool. If you have your own email list, you can upload it, and it will target your actual people who are already in your email list on Twitter, which is pretty cool. And then also your website visitors, almost like a remarketing thing. If people have already been on your website, then it'll continually target them on Twitter based on that. And then add TV targeting. So for what we can do here, this actually lets you target people who are watching specific TV shows in your market, which is pretty interesting. So what I would do is probably, I don't even know if they would let me do this, but Shark Tank, that would be one that I like to have it so that people who watch Shark Tank, they are then being targeted with what I'm looking at. So that we have that, and then we can actually add networks. This is TV networks if you want to do that. Add genres. I'm actually okay with not doing too much of this. I don't think that it's really necessary for mine, but we could go from there. Where the promoted tweets appear, do we want it to appear on their timelines? Yes, that's fine. And then we could also exclude tailored audiences, exclude specific people if we wanted to. I'm not going to do that. Here, the pacing options too. So you can do, with this, you could do X amount per day. They don't really have a lifetime thing set up right now to where you could say, or actually, I'm sorry, they do. They have to set the total budget. So what we could do is we could say, okay, so we could do, I want to only do $10 per day, or you know what, I want to do $5 per day. standard, so show my ads evenly, or accelerated, show them as quick as possible. I like to do standard. In terms of how much am I willing to pay per tweet engagement, this is set at $2. Other advertisers are advertising $1.50 to $2.50. I personally would start off at $1, right? And although it's a low bid, as it's signaling here, a low bid, you're paying less for it. So I would test to see how that works, and if it works out great, then you save some money. If not, then you can always redo it. Set your total budget. We'll do $25, and then we would click on Save Campaign, and we would be all set up. You can also see that after we set this total budget, this popped up here, which should have been kind of aggregating the whole time, but didn't. And my estimated reach is 166,000 people with this targeting that I've done here. So that's what you can do on Twitter. It's a little bit different than Facebook, but there are some similarities. And like I said, if I click Save Campaign and started running it, it would start going. Again, just like Facebook, there's a lot more to this. You can get very specific with targeting. You can do a lot more, but this should help you understand the general basis of setting up a Twitter campaign to promote your tweets, promote your account, etc.